Hello, everybody. Welcome to our 17th virtual classroom seminar. Today's topic is From SR to Patch. So within the next hour, we would like to introduce you to the development process. What's happening behind the curtain when you open an SR and you hit a misbehavior. The idea is really to give you an inside view into our processes, which will help you then understanding certain things going on your front-end side. It will take approximately an hour, and as usual, we have the slides already available. You'll find the link in the chat posted right now. If you have questions, feel free to ask them in the Q&A, please, not in the chat. Use the Q&A window, and we try to answer all your questions during the seminar. And approximately a week after the seminar, we'll offer you also the seminar to watch on demand via our blogs. Who is we? Today, it's myself, Mike Dietrich. I'm the product manager for database upgrades, migrations, and patching in Oracle. And you may know my blog, mikedietrich.de.com, where we share also the seminar recordings and slides and much, much more. And with me today is Daniel Overby Hansen. So Daniel is also a product manager in our team for database upgrades, migrations, patching, cloud migrations, and everything around that. And also Daniel has his own blog, dohdatabase.com, where he shares the slides and the recordings as well, and a lot of topics, especially at the moment around patching, but also transportable table spaces, auto upgrade, and much, much more. So within the next 60 minutes, we'd like to guide you through this topic. And let me just start here with a hint. Slides already available on mikedietrich.de.com/slides or on Daniel's blog, dohdatabase.com. And if you want to see more of our seminars, as I said, it's our 17th virtual classroom seminar. We have over 30 hours of recorded content, all tech, no buzzwords, no marketing, giving you deep dive information into data pump, minimal downtime strategies, fallback, auto upgrade, and whatever you want, especially also cloud migrations and performance testing, which is really, really important. So feel free to go and watch some of these seminars. It's purely on demand and free of charge. Now, let me start with a real customer story. And it may be your story, actually. So a true customer story starts with a big problem on Monday morning. So you come to the office and then you realize, oh my goodness, what has happened? Big issue, tickets open, phone is ringing. You go into the topic, you drill down, and then you open a service request with Oracle support, you upload everything required, and then Oracle support gets back to you. And in worst case, you hit a bug. Support tells you, look, this is an issue, this is a bug. We file a bug, or this is a known bug you hit. But no worries, we have a fix for you. The fix is already there. It's fixed in Oracle 23c. So you see your blood pressure going down, and you realize, good, there's relief coming. And then after a short while, you start thinking, 23. So we speak about 2023. You check in your calendar, you say, it is 2023 right now. This sounds good. But then you check and you realize there is no Oracle 23c yet there, at least not Enterprise Edition and Standard Edition. So at this point, three parties walk together. It's you, the customer, it's Oracle support, and in this specific case where you hit a bug, it's development. That's us, because we work in development. Not Daniel and myself here or our team, but sometimes we help people. It's the developers, the people you don't see, but all these people who work in the back end.
Thank you, Mike. Now, let's together take a tour deep inside Oracle and let's explore in details the patching process. Imagine it's Monday morning, you come to work, you haven't had time to have the first cup of coffee. You log on to the database to carry out this very important task that you must do every Monday morning. You run your procedure and boom, you hit an error. What do? Well, some of you have found an alternate support channel. You go to Twitter or other social media and you shout out loudly, hoping to attract the attention of a product manager. That is, of course, okay. We are there to help you. But the proper way of reporting an error is to go to my Oracle support and create a service request. As soon as you hit submit on the service request, our automation tool will start to process your service request. It'll look at the description you've provided. It'll look at stack trace, dump files, alert log, and so forth, and try to match it with all the other things we have in our databases. If there is a match, we can perhaps already guide you to an existing bug or an existing patch, and you can sort out your problem pretty fast. The automation tool is there to help you. In percent, how many service requests do you think that the automation tool can solve within 1 day? So without a human looking at it at all, just the automation tool finding the right solution for you. The number is actually 60%, which is quite good, I think. 60% of the service requests are solved without any human intervention. The automation tool can find a solution for you. I know that the automation tool is not perfect. I know that sometimes it goes into a crazy spin asking for the same information over and over again. I know it sometimes asks for completely irrelevant information. But please, when it do so, remember that it does actually add a lot of benefit. And please also know that we are constantly working on improving the automation. But sometimes you just want to talk to a human being. I fully understand. In our case, this Monday morning, the support engineer together with you determines that you have now hit a new issue. So the support engineer will create an entry in our bug database, a new bug. Now, this is where you can help yourself. You can help us help you. When you create the service request, make a clear description of the problem. And please do remember that the support engineer and later on the developer, they don't know anything about your environment. They don't know anything about your database. They don't know anything about your business. You need to tell us upfront in a clear description what the problem is and how it impacts you. You can also attach as much diagnostic information as you can. You can use the alert log. You can use the auto upgrade zip option, or OraCheck and ExaCheck has functionality to compile all the diagnostic information into one package that you can attach as well. At best, you create a reproducible test case for us that we can take in-house and run as well. The best thing, of course, is if the test case can run on a vanilla database. But sometimes, if you need data, try to create it artificially, or as a last resort, use data pump to provide the information for us for the test case. If you're running on an older release update, you can also try in a test environment to apply the latest release update to see if that solves your issue. Also, if there's a newer release of Oracle database, again in a test environment, you can quickly upgrade it. We know that auto upgrade made upgrades so much easier. So try to upgrade a test environment and see if the issue is solved there. If we know that an issue is solved in a later release update or release, it makes it easier for the support engineer to fix what exactly is hitting you. When the bug has been created, the support engineer will tell you the bug number. You can search on the bug number in My Oracle Support and it'll give you the bug page. Here you can see some of the information which we have recorded in our bug database. Then sometimes I know that your specific issue doesn't get the attention and the love that it truly requires or that it truly deserves. If that is the case, again, you can use Twitter or other social media to shout out loudly, and hopefully there's someone listening to you. But the proper way is actually to put in a note in the service request and then raise the severity. Then you can pick up the phone and call the support hub and then ask for an escalation of your specific issue. The support organization has a really good blog post where you can read much more about the escalation phase. But let's imagine in our situation that you could provide us with a plain test case that we could easily bring in-house, and it made it very easy for the developer to identify the problem and come up with a solution for a fix. When a developer has a solution for the fix, she will first need to create that bug fix or that code change in the main code line first. Before the developer can promote her code into the main code line, we need to run a set of regression tests to ensure that the fix doesn't break anything else. Depending on which functional area that code change lies in, a subset of our functional tests is automatically selected for regression test. The developer, based on her knowledge of the code and her fix, can then also cherry pick individual functional tests that you want to run as part of the merge process. At the end of the day, we will run all our more than 1 million functional tests on the main code line just to ensure that nothing has snuck in during the day. If you sum up the entire runtime of all our functional tests, it is more than 25,000 hours of testing. Imagine we have servers with 8 cores. You do the math. It means that we have more than hundreds of servers running in our farm just doing functional tests on Oracle database. And the farm, that's just a fancy word for a lot of computers we have in OCI, a lot of compute instances that are running the functional tests for the developers. If the fix introduces a new problem, then the developer, she will need to fix the fix and then redo the entire process. Only when the functional tests reveal no regressions are the developer allowed to promote her change into the main code line first. The main code line here is the long arrow in the top. This is where we produce new functionality for the database and where we fix issues. Many years ago, we created a branch of the main code branch, and that branch eventually became Oracle Database 19c, which you could download and install on your servers. We did that again a few years later for Oracle Database 21, and very shortly we will do it again for Oracle Database 23c. Now, when the developer wants to create her fix, she is in between 21 and 23. So the next publicly available branch where you can get the fix will be Oracle Database 23c. And that is why when you look at the bug note, when the bug has been fixed, when there is a patch for you, you can see in the bug note, it'll tell you that this specific issue is now fixed in 23.1. But wait a minute, I don't have a 23c yet. So what do? Do I need to upgrade? Help me, Mike.
Thanks, Daniel. And yes, you're right. There's no 23c Enterprise or Standard Edition yet. We have only the free Developer Edition available. What does this mean for you? It means relax, no worries. You will request and get a backport. What is a backport? Why do you need that? Because you need that specific fix on top of your current patch level. And this is what we call a backport. So let me explain that. A backport gets created on request, normally, and it's specific for on the operating system on top of the patch level you have right now. So we need to know what your current patch status is. And typically, you have not only just a release update, you may have also some additional one-off fixes. So we need your opatch lsinventory. And we have that information in a service request where you specify all this information, you request a backport via a service request, then this fix Daniel has shown you before is done in the main code line, will be now produced on top of your patch level for your environment, for your operating system. And this is what we call a backport. Typically, we produce the backports in an automated flow. So what happens is you request a backport, it gets handled by a system, it tries to produce it completely unattended. And if that happens, and if this succeeds, within 2 or 3 days, typically, you will see a message in your service request coming up and telling you that the backport is now available. If the automation fails, and typical reasons for the automation failing could be that we have dependencies of libraries and somebody needs to unfold that manually, or we see some conflicts, and then it needs to be handled manually by a developer. Of course, if it needs to be handled manually, then it takes longer than the automation. That is obvious, so please don't expect a backport to be there in 1 or 3 days. It takes longer, obviously. But in order to make your life much easier and ours as well, we upload more than 2,000 proactively built one-off fixes, backports, when we release a new release update. So at the day of 1919 being available on my Oracle support, there's also over 2,000 one-off fixes being built proactively available. And the reason is simple, that we can't include all of them into an RU, and we know that some candidates are highly sought for. So what you see here in this screenshot is that this one here has been built proactively for almost all the release updates already. There's a reason why we built that proactively and why it's not in a release update. We clarify this in a minute, but you see that only 19.7.0 is missing here. All the others are available, and we cut it off. You will find it also for 1917, 18, and 19 there. Now, at some point, you apply that. And when you do this once and the next quarter again, then you start scratching your head and you ask yourself, why is that fix not included in a release update? Every time I have to do this exercise over and over again. And for you, it may be the most important fix. You want that, and you're tired of applying it over and over again. So let me clarify and explain what goes into a release update. We call this an inclusion. So first of all, we screen and monitor for candidates. So you open that service request, a bug has been opened in the bug database, and now both systems get scanned automatically in the backend. And we scan for candidates. So the people deciding inside Oracle development, they have now a long list of potential candidates. And of course, you, via service request or Oracle support directly, can also request the inclusion of a specific bug fix into a future release update. So try this out. You can open this and say, look, this is my bug number. I want this bug to be included in a future RU. No guarantee, but you can do this, and support can do it as well, of course. So when we do this request for inclusion, and triple candidates then are shown in this MOS Note. So this is MOS Note 555.1, the most important recommended fixes. And what you see there is the things we haven't included here for 1918 yet. We took 1918 intentionally as a screenshot because this way we can show you the second column here where it says fixed in RU. So you see 3 of the issues we display here are included in 1919 already. But why is the first one or the fourth one or the sixth one not included? We'll see why that is. In addition, you see also those who are included in monthly recommended patches. This is the small bundles you can put on top before going live to make sure you have the most recent and most critical issues fixed as well, which aren't included in your release update yet. So we display them here. These are typical candidates to be included in the next RU. But you see not all of them are included. In addition, when we look at a typical bug here, and we scroll down a bit, then we have an SR counter in every bug. That means when you have this service request now open, and on the dashboard screen of the first page of your service request, you have a bug field, and support put now a bug number into that field. That automatically triggers the counter increasing by 1 into the related bug. So there's a direct connection. Now it's obvious. The more SRs for a specific issue are linked to the bug, and the bug counter goes up, it tells us, look, many customers have hit that issue. That is an important fix. So support can request it directly, or the hierarchy and the SR connection in the bug SR counter tells us this has been hit a lot of customers. It's an important thing. And in addition, when we look up here on AIM in the top list of the bug field, the bug subject, this AI, when you hear these days AI, everybody says, oh yeah, artificial intelligence. No, don't worry. AIM stands for Automatic Incident Management. So what do? We scan for incidents. That means you open an SR, and it happened to me several times. I can prove that this is really true and is working magically well. You open an SR, and a support engineer works with you, and then the automatic incident management scans the SRs and then opens automatically a bug from that. And believe me, it happened to me several times. A customer mailed me and said, look, Mike, can you have a look at this SR? I think it's really a bug issue. And while I looked at the bug and wanted to inform the engineer to open a bug because I scanned it and I came to the same conclusion that is a bug, I realized that in several cases, the AIM had come in already and opened the bug, which is pretty cool and pretty awesome and works very, very well. Then in addition, as you know, we have a lot of instances in our autonomous database environments. And there we have AIM running as well. So we scan for issues, and then we open automatically bugs also from our autonomous deployments. And the idea is really, we report and fix the problems before you hit in the backend. And believe it or not, it works magically very, very efficiently. So for you, that means if you work now with Oracle support and the support engineer tells you at one day, look, this is bug 4711, then make sure this bug number gets also visible on the dashboard of your SR screen. If it's in that bug field, that means the counter goes up in the connected bug in the backend, telling us that is an important issue. So this is an exercise you have to check by yourself and make sure it's really there. Then we have now a long list. And in this list, we have to evaluate. Let's say we have a list of 2,000 potential fixes for the next release update. And I'm just making up a number. I don't know the exact list. It could be also just 800. I don't really know the number. Now we evaluate them. And there are some rules we have to apply. And rule number 1 is, and this strictly applies, the fix must be rug rolling and standby first. Let's have a look at an example here. We take here this very, very well-known Aura 20,000 during MDP with Studs. You check the README, and here in the README it says, this patch is not rug rolling installable. It's non-data guard standby first installable. And that means we never include it into an RU because we would break the capabilities of having a release update being applicable in a rug environment completely rolling without outage of the database. And we need to make sure that you can apply RUs in rug environments completely rolling. At some point, we can do things like for data pump. We are currently in this situation for most data pump fixes, and we work together with the people building the fixes to make sure that we still can apply them rolling with some things going in the back end. And you will see in Oracle Database 23c, there's some relief coming as well. But right now, this is a clear, strict requirement. So the fix I showed you before can't be included. Unfortunately, we have to carry it forward. Then, of course, I made up a number before, 800, 2000. I don't really know the number, but we have a guideline what we think is can be controlled very well. We do regression tests. Regression tests are extremely important, and we need to complete the regression tests. And if something fails in a regression test run, we need to make sure that we can fix that and still deliver the release update on time. So we can only include a limited number of fixes into a release update and not an infinite number. So there's a limitation. When we look at the numbers in the release updates, then you will see that currently we are balancing between 500 and 700 fixes approximately within the last release updates. And this is something we consider as controllable, or we can do this. I don't say that 1140 is uncontrollable, otherwise we wouldn't have produced that. But this was like the, how should I say, the result of customers. A long-term support release needs a bit more stability. And then our execs decided, look, we stop every new development efforts. We just put efforts into fixing open bugs. And the result was that we had a very high number in 1910 and 1911. Now, this is unusual, but it was really needed to ensure that a lot of open issues are fixed. The downside of such a high number is that you have also the risk of introducing regressions. So a regression means you include a new fix for something which breaks then something else. So where we are right now, I think this is the level we would like to keep. And maybe it goes lower at some point, we'll see. But this is what we plan. So we have also a limitation on the number of fixes. There is no infinite number. And then finally, and if you do software development by yourself, or if you have software development in your own company, then this may ring immediately a bell with you and remind you on your own processes. There's a code-free state. So let's say 1919, the release update got released on about 19th of April, I think, this year. That doesn't mean that when you found the critical issues on the 12th of April this year, that we can include it into release update, because the code freeze for release update is 6 to 12 weeks before the actual release update release. So when you map this back for 1919, that means the code freeze was sometimes maybe between 1st of March or even earlier than that. So if you hit that issue on 12th of March, and it's really critical, and we all agree, then it's still most likely not making it into 1919. But please, if you're in doubt, check with Oracle support. Open an SR and ask support, this is my bug number I've been given. Can you tell me in which release update that will be included? And then support with 2 clicks can look it up and tell you it will be included, it's already approved. We have a system where you can monitor that. Or if support says it's not approved yet, then at least you know it's still in doubt. It's not decided if it will be in a future release update. Then you can see what you do, an escalation, or talk to your rep, or whatever is possible. But we have a code-free state, so we can't include things on a final minute because we have to complete the regression tests. And in order to make all this happening, I hand over now to Daniel, because Daniel can tell you why we need your opatch lsinventory.
Thank you, Mike. Why do we need it? Well, we need it because this cute little puppy is asking for it. Come on, look at his eyes. It is so cute. If this puppy were to ask for the output of opatch lsinventory, I would give it the output from every Oracle database on the planet. But it's actually not the real reason. The reason why we ask for the output of opatch lsinventory is to avoid conflicts. And I'm not talking about conflicts between you and Oracle if things go south. No, I'm talking about code conflicts. If you get a patch from our Oracle support and you try to apply that patch, opatch will then upfront check and ensure that the new patch doesn't conflict with any of the existing patches that you have on your Oracle home already. If you have, then it'll error out and say, I cannot continue. You will run into big problems if you apply this patch as well. And the reason for that is that we need to check for conflicts in the code. Imagine that you sit at your desk and you work with, let's say, for instance, data pump. It's Monday morning, it's a bad Monday morning, and you find an error. The supporter supplies you with a fix for this specific error, and you get a one-off patch that you can download. The one-off patch is created based on the base release, in this case 19C. So we will take the file which make up the bad functionality, and we will ship you a new file which contains just the lines that we need to change in order to fix your bug. Then later on this Monday morning, you find another error in the same functional area, also here in data pump. You reach out to support and they'll give you a second one-off patch that you can download and install. But by default, the one-off fix is created based on the base release. So we will take the same file and make other changes to the file in order to fix the second problem. But now we have an issue because the two fixes requires changes to the same file. So which one of them do you want to apply in your Oracle Home? If you apply the first one, you're missing out on the second fix, and also vice versa. What we need here is a merge patch, where we can take the contents of the two fixes, put them together into the same file, and give it to you. So you can apply one merge patch, which fixes two issues. This is the way that we can fix issues in the same file, in the same functional error, and still deliver it to you via merge patches. So when you create a service request, when you engage with my Oracle support, you might as well just upload the output of opatch lsinventory right from the beginning. We need it in case later on that we need to build a patch for you. But also, when we are diagnosing the error, it's very useful to know exactly which patches do you have in your Oracle Home, which release update are you using, which other bundle patches have you put on top, and also additional one-off patches, MRPs, and so forth. Always attach the output of opatch lsinventory. And when you attach the file to the service request, don't give it a crazy name. Over the years, when I've looked at service requests, I have seen the output of opatch lsinventory attached as many different file names. And I always get confused. The easiest for everyone involved is that you just upload the file as opatch_lsinventory. Please, thank you very much in advance. It's a small file, but it has a big meaning to us.
Hey, thanks, Daniel. I think we all understood now that you have to upload your opatch lsinventory. And there's one thing I would like to mention here, which is very important when we discuss today's topic. What if you're on Windows? Windows is different. Unfortunately, Oracle on Windows is different as well, and this has a lot to do with the thread architecture on Windows. It's a very different OS architecture when you really drill deep down into the bits and pieces of the Windows platform. Now, what does this mean for our patching topic? First of all, the bundle patches on Windows, they get also released, but they have the old name still kept. It's a Windows bundle patch and not a release update. Why is that? Actually, nobody explained it to us. We have just like a guess why that is. And when we look closer into the contents, then we find out that the contents are not the same for the Windows bundle patch and the Unix release updates at a given date. So when we look closer at the April 2023 one, we realize they don't contain the exact same patches. Now your first guess may be, yeah, it's obvious. There may be port-specific fixes, right? So some things simply don't happen on Windows and others don't happen on a Unix platform. And that's true, absolutely true. But let us have a closer look here. When we compare 1919 on Linux and 1919 on Windows, then we see that we have 533 bug fixes on Linux and 5 of them are not on Windows. So 528 are in common. That's okay. But Windows then has 153 additional bug fixes, which are not part of the Linux platform. And if you ask yourself, oh, is this the reason why Windows is always late? I can only just guess, and I think it is part of that reason why Windows is usually released a bit later. Now you may ask, next question, why does Windows have 153 additional fixes which are not included in Linux in 1919? And a simple reason is that on Windows, we don't deliver one-off patches that easily or merge patches than we deliver them on the Unix platforms. And one of the core reasons why that is, on every Unix platform, you have a compiler. A compiler is part of your environment. While on Windows, if you license a compiler, that's really expensive. So not many of you have a full set Windows compiler being able to compile a one-off fix into the current executable. So it's less often happening that we deliver one-off fixes. So this may be one of the reasons why a Windows bundle patch has more fixes included than the Linux one at the same time. But where do you find a Windows bundle patch? Very simple. We have our download assistant. So the assistant download reference has a specific bullet point here, latest available Microsoft Windows patches. And when you click there, you'll find them. So you see this here, I click, and then I get the list up to 1919. But I haven't patched to 1919. I'm interested in 1915 one for whatever reason. Let me just play this game through here. I click on 1915, and when I did this originally, at the same time when the Linux or other ports for 1915 got released, I got this error message in the right corner of my slide saying the patch details are not found. So when it happened to me the first time, the first thing I did, I know the owner of the download assistant, and I mailed him and said, hey, I think you have included a wrong link. Can you correct that, please? And he mailed me back 5 minutes later and said, no, Mike, you have to do the following thing. You have to go to the patch availability document, and we do this here for April. And in the patch availability document, this is from a year ago, we check the post-release patches, and there it is, 1915 for Windows, the bundle patch, exact same patch number as I clicked on the slide before, and it says 17th of May. The original date was mid of April, so this is a month late. Unfortunately, my Oracle support doesn't give you great information. It doesn't tell you at this point, oh look, it's not available yet. It will come on potentially this date. This is the projected date right now. And be aware, these dates can slip from time to time. Has happened in the past, may happen in the future as well. MOS just tells you the details are not found. So when you see this and you would like to know the date when we project the availability of a release update or of the OJVM or a bundle patch for Windows, you always check the patch availability document. So far, always section 2.2 is post-release patches, and they get listed there. So find the patch availability document by searching patch availability document APR 2023 for April or JUN for June 2023 in a few days. So just as a summary here for this topic, Oracle on Windows is different. It's still a platform we fully support. We will support it in the future as well. Windows is one of our major platforms, and we have a lot of customers using Oracle on Windows. With this, I would like to hand over to Daniel for the next topics. So, Daniel, you carry on, please.
Thanks, Mike. I was about to show you a really cool MOS Note, but I can't find it anymore. I entered the document ID into the support page, but it came back with an error. I didn't try it again. Still an error. I verified the number. It was the correct number. I tried again and I still got an error. Does that sound familiar? Have you ever tried to search for a document ID on My Oracle support only to get an error back saying that the document cannot be found? But you know that that document exists. What's going on? Probably the note has been taken down temporarily for review. Sometimes we get feedback on our MOS notes. There's a feedback function in My Oracle support, and also us as employees, we can come up with suggestions to make the MOS notes even better. When there are suggestions, the author of the MOS note will take the note down and put it in review state. Then we can make changes, we can review the changes, and then hopefully publish a new, improved, better MOS note for you. If you try to find the MOS note during the review phase, you will get an error. It could also be that the specific document is not marked as a public document. It is not something that we share with customers. If that is the case, you will get the same error. But also, if you really input a wrong number, you get the same error. From the error message, you cannot see the underlying reason. If the document is down for review, you can just try again in a few days. But if you want to have access to the document as soon as possible, you can also create a service request and ask the supporter to give you a version of the document. This also goes for non-public MOS notes. Sometimes our MOS note has been marked as internal only for no really good reason. You can try to ask the supporter, we will review your request, and if it is safe to share the information with you, we can turn the MOS note into a public one so you and everyone else can get access to it. You can create a service request and ask the supporter. When our developers are sitting and making a new, better version of the Oracle database, they're working on Oracle Linux. That is our development platforms. The majority of the code is written in Oracle Linux, and when developer is running tests locally or on their own computer, it is on Oracle Linux as well. When we are satisfied with the state of a current release, when we are satisfied with the state of Oracle Database 23c, we will then prepare to release it on Oracle Linux, and then we can start working on porting that version onto all the other platforms that we are supporting. For Intel Solaris x86, Oracle Database 19c is the last release. It is the terminal release. So if your database is running on Intel Solaris on x86 hardware, you have to migrate onto some of the other platforms. For all the other ports, they will come when we release Oracle Database 23c. First, we will ship it on Linux, and then we will start working on all the other ports. Oracle Database 23c will be our next long-term support release. So all the supported platforms, they will come in that release. When Mike and I did the research for this talk, we spent a lot of time in our support pages and in our bug tracking system, in our bug database. In the bug database, you can see all the platforms that are registered for all the various components that we have in Oracle. Not just the database, but also the huge variety of software that we offer. So we thought it could be fun to play a sort of career bingo. This is an extract of all the many platforms that we have in our bug database. You go over the list and in the chat, put in the count of the platforms that you have worked on with Oracle Database or any other software. So let's play a little career bingo. I'll give you some time to go over the list and then put the number of platforms that you know or have worked on, you put it into the chat. Even though I've worked with Oracle Database for almost 20 years, when I went over the list, I was a little disappointed because actually my count, it is fairly low. I started my career on Microsoft Windows. So as Mike say, Oracle Database on Windows is slightly different. I know some of you are skeptic about running Oracle Database on Microsoft Windows, but I can say from personal experience, it works quite well. That's it. No more time for career bingo. Let's check the results in chat. Unfortunately, there is no prize, except the joy that you got from walking down memory lane. Now that we provided a patch for you, it is time to install that patch on your Oracle Grid infrastructure or Oracle database. If you want to know more about that process, if you want to get the very best tips, the best practices, and so forth, visit the previous webinar where we discuss all those things in detail. Having said that, it is time to wrap up and say thank you.
Wait, stop. Daniel, stop. You don't turn off yet. This year, Cloud World in Las Vegas in September. We want you to come there because we have the coolest labs you've ever been at. Watch for 2 minutes what we are going to do.
Everybody loves database patching. Everybody loves database patching, right? Right?
Okay, we all know patching is no fun, but necessary and at very best that you need to do over and over again. It's our mission to make the patching experience very simple, so we built this lab to bring you some light to the patching jungle and tell some very well hidden secrets you have yet to hear about. Unfortunately, problems are part of our lives, and everything can misbehave or stop working for whatever reason. So always remember to keep your environment patched, or when the problem pop up, you have to be very creative. See you there.
Why you have to be so good?
Hi, Roy here. Do you need to move your database and all its data, its metadata, everything that goes along with it, maybe to new hardware, new platform? Maybe you're going to the cloud. You might be wondering, what's the best way to move all of this? Is this really the most organized way to do it? I mean, do I even really want to move all of this stuff? And is it possible to move everything? And what's this? They want me to go to a whole new time zone? Well, it's a good thing I have a full tank of gas. Or maybe you're thinking of going to the cloud. I mean, I'm sure that pilot has autopilot installed. Maybe you want to go to autonomous. Whatever your migration scenario, the experts in the database upgrade and migration team can tell you all of the right tools, techniques, and features to use to make your migration as successful and smooth as possible. So click the link below and register to learn more.
Hey there, remember the times when upgrades were really complex? And do you remember the times when you needed a nose to upgrade a database? No worries these days anymore. Auto upgrade is the game changer. You have RUC, you have data guard, no problem. Migration to the multi-tenant architecture, auto upgrade does it all for you. But what's the biggest fear of every DBA? Unexpected performance surprises. In our lab, you don't upgrade with performance end to end. You'll fix every problem and you'll have a successful migration to multi-tenant into the new database release. Come to our hands-on lab. Bring your laptop for optimal experience, and we'll see you soon.
Do you want to go from here
I hate patching,
to here? I love patching. Do you think patching is like the Wild West? But would you rather want to patch like a pro? Then the Patching No Slide Zone is the place for you. All tech, no marketing. Don't bring your boxing gloves. Don't bring a yoga mat. Instead, bring all your questions, ideas, thoughts, concerns, anything on patching Oracle database and grid infrastructure. Together, we will work it out. I guarantee you'll learn something new. Follow the link and sign up before it's too late.
Thank you.